literally the Tiger Woods standard of wedges. I'm going to talk you through today how they're designed, how they are crafted. I'm going to give you a few short game tips. I'm going to tell you why Tiger Woods trusts Mike Taylor with all of his clubs. So, what do I look for in my wedge setup? First of all, lofts. Okay, we all have our own preferences. For me, I like to go from the iron set pitching wedge into a 50-degree gap wedge, 56-degree sand wedge, and then a 60-degree lob wedge. Okay, so starting with the 50-degree, I have a standard bounce on here. And remember, bounce is how much angle there is on the back of the head. If you go really low, you're going to catch it pretty much on the leading edge. If you go really high on the bounce, it's going to interact with the ground more and has the potential to bounce. So I play in the UK, very varied in terms of playing conditions. So standard on the 50 is important for me because it gives me the leading edge look that I want, and it also gives me the confidence to not only hit that full shot when I'm gapping down from my pitching wedge, but also to flight it in there when I've got a shorter distance, but I want to control flight. Okay, and that is one thing these wedges do incredibly well. Because we've got that super sharp leading edge, we've got an incredibly quality milled face. Everything about this wedge is setting up for me to hit those shots that I want. Now, an extremely important club in my bag is the 56 degree. Here I have the dual sole, which is going to have dual relief. Okay, so you get one aspect of bounce here, and then an additional grind along the back, so that if you want to manipulate the face open, you get a different level of bounce and incredible turf interaction. The 56 for me is really important because I use this for an awful lot of different shots. I don't tend to hit a lot of just full wedges. I think that's, again, might be due to the weather. So this one here is going to be used from everything from right next to the green up to about 115 yards, maybe 120, depending on how I'm feeling. If I really want to turn it down, I can do, but when you got 50 degree, there's no need, okay? I'm looking for control of flight, a specific window coming off the face so I know exactly how it's going to launch, how it's going to spin and react on the green. So, final wedge is the 60. I've got dual sole again. I like to open this out. Obviously, you need to play those flop shots, those high shots where needed. And again, the profile on this wedges is just exactly what I like the look of. Okay, so you got very traditional style face. We got the raw finish, which is obviously a tough favorite and what I always prefer as well. And here, again, it's all about the leading edge. There's no real offset on these wedges here. They are designed by the best, and these fit my eyes incredibly well, guys. All right, so we've got one of the best sets of wedges in the world. I've given you a quick look through of my setup. I'm now going to take them to the course. We're going to talk short game, we're going to talk performance, and why Tiger Woods trusts the builders of Artisan Wedges to get his clubs exactly where he wants them. So one of the shots that I love to play and get asked about a lot is that low pitch that's going to bounce and check pretty soon after landing. All right, we're coming in hot and then just grabbing when we land on the green. It's great for distance control and obviously trajectory control when you're coming into the green, so you're taking out as many variables as possible. So to hit this shot, I've got about 65 yards to the flag. The green is slightly sloping away, and what I'm going to look to do is use the 56 degree wedge to flight it down, land it just on the front of the green. It's going to bounce a couple of times, check, and then just release out down to the flag. Okay, so how do you hit that lower wedge? So there's a few little things you want to do, okay? One thing that I see people do incorrectly all the time is get that ball too far back in your stance, okay? At that point, all you've got is that dig down approach. You're not going to use the loft effectively, you're not going to use the bounce effectively, and basically you're just driving it in there and hoping that you're going to land it on a decent distance before it rolls out, okay? So we're going to have the ball marginally back of center, okay? We don't need our feet too far open, but we do like to withdraw the left. A lot of players do that. If you prefer to have them neutral or even closed, you can make it work, guys, right? Because we're not using our lower body anything like as much. We don't need that rotation. So set in there, you're gonna be just slightly back of center. Face is neutral, we don't need to do too much, all right? let the hands just sit naturally ahead of the ball. If the ball's back of center, that's where they're going to be at. Okay, so face and shoulders are on the target line, ball slightly back of center, and then the key from here is to let it be a body-led swing. All right, so if we go into it and really release on it, we're going to see the hands add loft. We're going to rotate the face too much. It's going to be difficult to execute. Okay, so I like to think about having extremely soft hands and just using the upper body to really turn through this shot. Okay, so my feel, again, ball back, we're going to get set. The weight stays on the left pretty much the whole way through, about 70%. As you take it back, keep some width, keep fairly shallow by using your arms and extending the club away from the body. And then as we get to this point here, we're looking for very little in terms of wrist action. We're going to bring the club back down with our upper body, hands ahead. That's how you're going to get that slightly descending strike, and then just soft and up to the finish, guys. All right, so let's try one out. It's pretty good. So let's have a little look at how these sit behind the ball. So we got the 50 degree right now, and you can see that is a square leading edge right there. So it's a really pretty little head, traditional shape, raw finish is perfect, and you can see looking down from the player's perspective, it ships the ball really nicely. There's nothing too much going on. You got a traditional toe shape in there, beautiful lines, and as you can see, very little offset with this design. It's a 56 and the shape is definitely continued through the set. Okay, so again, you look at that leading edge, we are clean, those grooves are really sharp, and if you get behind the ball, you can sit it open. You can see if we get in close there, when you sit it open, it's going to sit pretty much as cleanly to the ball as when we go square up to the ball. And into 60 with that dual sole, again, we can nip right into the back. We got that sharp leading edge. We can lay it open, cut across, and you are going to get some massive response. Then looking at the face as we are, so you can see very traditional shape. You got the raw finish, a little bit of grass in the toe. That's probably my fault. So as you can see, we get in there close. Beautiful shape to the head, really square leading edge. Everything is ground and worked to perfection. Flip it around, have a quick look at that dual sole coming in. So every wedge is custom designed. We've got the demo set here. You can see that Texas flag colors coming in. And then on the heel, on the hosel, you're going to have the specific serial number of every single wedge. So if you get a wedge through these guys, you get fitted up, you will have a lifelong serial number, so that they know exactly what you need when you come back for some fresh grooves. So we went through the flighted check-in wedge shot. The other shot I get asked about is the bunker shot. Now, I find this one of the easiest shots possible. Maybe not to get it dead close every single time, but in terms of executing a good swing and a good shot, you're really not going to have too much difficulty right here. So, a couple of key things, all right? Nice wide setup. We're not going crazy open, because if you just go up and across, you're likely to get a little bit much leading edge. You're going to cut across it at best, and you're not going to be able to control distance very well. Okay, so typically we're going to go almost like the full swing, neutral to maybe slightly open. Okay, from there, obviously face up to the sky relative to the shot, but that's going to allow you to add more speed because you got more loft. Okay, from there, dig those feet in. Really wide stance, because then you get your center of gravity lower, and what we don't want to do is get steep and dig into the ground, because that's when we're going to slow down, and again, we're not using the quality of the wedge, the balance and the loft the way that we could be. Okay, so from here we got that face pointing up, we've got that wide stance, get down low, you want to feel as though your hands are quite close to the sand. Okay, from there you're going to be able to then use your wrists. So the long pitch shot, we were trying not to use our wrists almost at all. Here we're using purely wrists. All right, as soon as you start to turn with the body, that's when we're going to drive and dig into the sand. Okay, so what we're looking at here again, using the bounce, we just talked about that dual sole. Using the bounce, we want to get that into the sand as quickly as we can. Maintain a shallow but consistent divot from at least a couple of inches either side of the ball, okay? The more sand you move, the more speed you create, the easier the ball is going to come out. So, get set, nice wide stance, wristy setup, and then from there, enter the sand a good couple inches behind. Keep the face looking up to the sky for as long as possible. Move all that sand and then come up and out, okay? Plenty of sand, plenty of speed. Quick look from the face on position. Again, wide, hands low. You can see the face there pointing up to the sky. You want to hinge back, throw it underneath so that face maintains the angle pointing up. Your hands are basically going to stay at the ball and release forwards, okay? So the opposite that we're looking for in a pitch. And like I said, we're going to enter the sand a decent bit behind and clear the sand a good bit through, okay? Probably about 6 inches, the banknote. That's what we're talking about, all right? It's all about cash, money, and getting these balls out the bunker, okay? So we get set, nice soft hands, lots of wrist, and throw the sand. So, then we use the bounce, we use the wedge properly, we create some loft, and we get out every time. Okay guys, so we have given you a brief look into the wedges crafted and designed by the guy who looks after Tiger Woods' golf clubs. And to be honest, they're the best set of wedges I've ever tried. I like everything about them, guys, all right? And hopefully through this, you've had part of the experience as well. Now, if I ever get the chance to go out to Texas, see my man Mike, I'm all in. But for the time being, I'm extremely fortunate to be working with ROC Golf. And if you want to check them out, they deliver the finest golf clubs you're going to find, whether it's Miura, whether it's Artisan, or a bunch of other cool brands. They are going to hook me up, and yes, I'm getting a custom set of these wedges, guys, all right? Regardless of whether you get your hands on some Artisan. Number one, pay attention to your wedges and get custom fit. It makes all the difference. And from gapping your distances to bounce to grind and to overall build, you will save shots on your shot game. Number two, check out those tips that we gave you for the short game. All right, 2 of the shots that I get asked about all the time. You've got the flighted spinning pitch shot and you've got the bunker shot. 2 shots that require almost the opposite technique. We went through them, and I want you to go out, apply them to your own game, and see how far you can take your short game skills. And then finally, you're going to hit up www.golf-wad.com, and you're going to check out everything that we have going on, guys, all right? We have an awful lot of fitness programs for golfers of all kinds, and right now, we've just released our GolfWad app. Now, within there, you can get yourself a 7-day free trial, which I'll put up for you right here. You can also get half-price golf coaching within the app. So if you want to put in some work with myself, we can change your short game, we can change your full game, whether it's more distance, better flop shots, we can help you out, guys, all right? You can take it the full distance, you can add in nutrition, you can add in fitness, and then you have the full performance package. Now, I appreciate your time, and again, I hope this video saves you a couple of shots around the greens, gets you fired up about a fresh set of wedges, and if it does so, subscribe. Hit up the list, guys, all right? We are dropping more and more content all of the time, and we appreciate every single one of you. And number 2, tell your friends and check out those other videos, guys, all right? We are the strongest movement in golf. We appreciate your time. Go do some work.